Combination of both in that third quarter.
I mean, I feel like we didn't get enough threes up. They kind of took us away from the three-point line. I think they only attempted 20-something, but they took away that. And then in the third quarter, they just felt like they got whatever they wanted.
And then to that point, obviously you're going to get them again on Friday. Was there anything about tonight that kind of surprised you guys in the way that they came out?
I mean, they came out aggressive, especially in the second half. They came out aggressive, and I mean, they played well. They played physical. I felt like they just controlled the game and how they want to play.
Obviously 2 days between now and playing them again, but after a game like that, is it almost maybe beneficial, or is the team chomping at the bit to have another crack at the team to show that what happened tonight is not a reflection of what normally would happen?
I mean, we beat them twice this year, so obviously we'll look it over and just try and get better, learn from our mistakes, go back to what we're good at the last couple weeks.
Offensively, what do you feel like they did to take you guys out of your rhythm, slow down the pace, and limit those spray threes?
I think they just made a concerted effort, especially on our dribble or our DHOs, to bring their big up. Usually they're in drop coverage, but today they brought all their bigs up. So that was something different that they were doing, especially with Lively in the game.
Keegan, you guys have been so good defensively recently. Did this feel like a step back, and was it kind of disappointing not to be able to stop them a little bit more than you did?
I mean, it's a step back just because it was a big game, but obviously we're not going to let one game affect how well we've been playing the last couple weeks. So it's one of those games where I feel like you just got to flush it and just go back to how we've been playing.
You guys were throwing a lot of looks at Luka, just his game overall tonight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you could tell he was hurt a little bit, but he's one of the greatest players in this league for a reason. So he knows how to manipulate the defense really well. I feel like just our focus on him let other guys get open shots.
Do you think Domas got comfortable at all tonight in terms of the offensive game? Seemed like you said, they played up on him. Was he able to get comfortable at all?
I mean, Domas, he's a great player. He can affect the game in different ways. So he'll adapt and he'll figure it out for the next game. So I'm not worried about him.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, De'Aaron, your primary playmakers, you, Domas and Malik all with a handful of turnovers tonight. What did you see that kind of led to Dallas mucking up the game?
Oh man, I think they were more physical than us tonight. They got to loose balls, which allowed them to get out in transition. They got a lot of easy buckets, and then we just weren't able to get stops at the end of the day either. But we have to be better on the offensive end as well.
Did you notice anything in the first half that kind of prepared you for what might be coming there in that third quarter?
Oh, not really. I mean, I think we played a pretty good first half. But no, I mean, I think they just beat us on both ends of the court in the second half. Like I said, they were more physical. They got into the ball. They pressured us, and we weren't able to get into our offense, and that led them to get easy buckets. And then once a good players see the ball go in the basket, there's nothing you can do about it. And we didn't do a good job on the defensive end either.
Which is surprising, again, because you guys have played so well defensively. Spray three-wise, though, why did they have such great open looks, do you think, tonight?
Oh, I mean, they were just able to get into the paint. They got downhill. If it was pick and roll, one-on-one, collapsed our defense. So we have to be better in keeping the ball in front. Obviously, Luka, Kyrie, Tim, they're going to make tough shots at some point. But obviously, we know, Luka wants to get to a step back, and we weren't able to keep him away from that. And he hit a few, and now, you're kind of overreacting, and now he's getting downhill and just making the game easier for everybody else.
The circumstances of the game, does that change how much more painful this win is, or losses, or can you flush it just like any other?
I mean, a little, but I mean, we play this team again, so hopefully, if we're able to win that game, then we have the tiebreaker. We're back tied up again, but definitely in the West right now, especially when you're playing a team that you're right in the running with. Obviously, a win or loss here against them, and they get a win or a loss is a whole game difference. So. We know this is an extremely important game, and that just makes Friday's game, all the more important. So we can get the tiebreaker, win the series 3-1. We're back tied up, and we're in front of them. So we have to be prepared for the next game.
De'Aaron, for quite a while now, you've come out and addressed like some of your bigger and maybe more difficult losses. Is this like something you're kind of making a point of doing for some reason in just leading this team and kind of showing that accountability and
As far as talking to y'all,
yeah, just
I don't get shit out of that.
Okay.
I don't get nothing out of that. They ask me, I do it.
But for the team, so it really doesn't mean anything in
They
terms
don't
of
give a fuck if I come up here and talk. I tell you that. But nah, I mean, if Michael asked me, I do. If Michael or Shannon asked me, I do it.
Okay, well they're
Yeah,
good.
I get no joy in this after a win or a loss. My team doesn't care if I come up here in a blowout win or a blowout loss. So,
Sorry I brought it up.
I mean, it is what it is.
Defensively, does this feel like any concern that this feels like a step back given how good you guys have been?
It's definitely a step back. Even if you take out their transition points, which I think they had 22, 20-something transition points or 18 fast break points. I felt like more. But even if you take away that, I mean, we still lose this game in a lot of other areas. So, I mean, as a all-around basketball game, I think in the second half we played horrible, and I think it was one of our probably worst halves of the season.
Yeah, De'Aaron, on that, like, how do you just walk away from this and prep for Friday and try to make it, more like the first two games against this team?
I mean, when we were down, obviously, you try to make it a game, but at the end of the day, you want to continue to play the right way. Just to try to gain a little bit of momentum going into the next game, obviously knowing that we're going to play the same team again. I mean, we have to try to replicate what we did in the first half outside of, Luka having almost 30 points in the first half. I think we did a pretty good job everywhere else. So you try to replicate that as much as possible. We have to come back. We have to be more physical, both offensively and defensively. And then if we're able to do that, obviously have the effort that you want to have, then, the chips fall where they may. But, we can say they made, a lot of shots tonight, but they got a lot of open shots as well. So we have to be able to take those away. If they're just making tough shots, then, that is what it is. But we have to be better in the types of looks that we give them.
They're playing up on Domas a lot tonight. What can you combat with that, especially when he's getting the ball picked off by the three-point line, the foul line, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, we have some things that, just try to be able to get easier catches. I mean, like I said, they were the more aggressive team from pretty much start to finish. Daniel Gafford was up, Derek Lively was up, PJ was up. Derrick Jones Jr., everybody, I mean, they picked up every single possession. So for us, we have to find ways to get him easier catches, to get downhill and just let the dominoes fall.
We got our behinds kicked, starting with me all the way down. You got to give Dallas credit. They actually played the way that we like to play. They just kept the game simple. Anytime we sent the second guy at the ball or anytime they tried to drive the basketball, somebody was open, they just made the simple pass, and whoever caught it stepped in and shot a wide open shot, or they caught it and drove it, and then they sprayed the ball, and they got great looks from the three-point line because they just kept making the same simple play over and over and over and over again. And obviously Luka hit some tough shots at the beginning of the game to get them going, but that's what great players do. And then after that, it was just downhill because of the way that they move the basketball after short paint touches or even a little deeper paint touches. We didn't do a great job defensively. We didn't do a great job contesting shots when we did have an opportunity to contest shots. They won the possession game. We talked about playing fast, and we had 5 fast break points. And I told our guys, I said, hey, they played last night and had to travel in. We played last night and we were here. And to have 5 fast break points is not good enough, especially when they had 18. I don't know why, but our transition passes were not good. We threw underhand passes, we threw off-balance passes over the top, but we had to have 3 or 4 turnovers in transition that just cost us. You talk about spraying the ball. I thought in the first half, Luka had a big first half, so you got to give him credit. It was part of the reason why they had 58 points. He had 26. And, we hitting them, blitzing them, but he still found a way at times to get free and shoot a step back and knock down some deep threes. But offensively, even though we weren't playing our best, we still at times tried to play the right way because everybody knows when Domas is rolling, they're doing this. When we drive the ball, they're doing this. And so they're daring us to spray the basketball. And sometimes you got to spray it early. And in the first half, we were 5 for 10 in sprays. And, our goal is to get to 20. In the second half, we were 1 for 4. We were 1 for 4 in sprays. And that just tells you that, we either drove and tried to finish in traffic, or we had the ball in traffic and tried to finish, but we did not spray the basketball. Our spacing wasn't good. Our pace in the half court wasn't good. Our cutting wasn't good. But the biggest thing is we just would not spray the basketball to save our lives. And to have 4 sprays against a pretty good defensive team like that is not good enough. We were 1 for 4 in sprays. And by the time we took our starters out, I think we had a total of 24 threes. And a lot of that had to do because we weren't spraying the basketball. So we obviously weren't good defensively. Luka and Kyrie, they're great players, and they had a lot to do with it. But offensively, watching us play tonight, I'm a little surprised how we played.
Coach, on those double teams for Luka, Kyrie, what do you feel like you guys could have done to sort of clean up them still making plays out of that?
At the end of the day, when you double somebody in our league, you're telling the other team somebody else is taking a shot. And like I said, you just got to give them credit because what they did was when we doubled them, they just tried to stretch the double team so that our rotations are longer. And then they just got the ball out. And they made one more, you had to rotate, and made one more simple pass. And because they stretched the double team and our rotations are longer, now, again, I always talk about the domino effect our team. Our team sometimes gets into the mode where the guy that has the ball thinks he has to make the assist. And sometimes it's the hockey assist that kills teams. And so tonight, when we did blitz, they did a great job of extending the double team, and we had to because those guys both had it going in certain times of the game. But they got it out just simply to the open man, and they let that open man make a play when we had to rotate to him. And, you just live with whoever takes a shot at that time, and hopefully you're able to get there and contest. And more than that, you hope that they miss. But if they make shots, then at the end of the day, you can say, hey, I'm going to live with that because we're not letting Luka get another 26 in the second half, and then Kyrie, get 20 or 30 in the second half himself.
Mike, coming into this game tonight, I know it was called or labeled as like a mini playoff series with everything that's on the line. In the circumstances, like let's say this was game 1 of the playoffs and you have 2 days off before game 2 and another crack at the same opponent, what do these 2 days look like, and is the approach the same even in the regular season?
Well, it's a little different. Like tomorrow, we're giving the guys off for sure because we played a lot of games in a short amount of time, and especially when we have a back-to-back, we give guys a day off. So they'll have a day off tomorrow. In the playoffs, we'd probably come in and at least watch film, get some free throws and some shots up or something like that. But I have a day off, and then we'll come in and we'll practice the next day, and then get ready to play the following day. So it's a little different. In that regard, but there's still really, really important games, and it's great for us to see if we can bounce back and figure out what we can do better in the second game.
Mike, the third quarter issue that we saw tonight, that hasn't really been sort of who you guys are this season. What is it that you saw coming out of halftime that they were able to come out and just run away from you guys so fast?
Shane, and again, I don't want to put it all on us offensively, but because we didn't do a great job defensively, but our offense tonight led to some easy baskets for them. And when we turned the ball over or we took forced tough shots because we held on to it. Now the shot clock's going down and we're standing. Now we got to jack something up, and it's a tough shot, so it hits the rim, it bounces long, and then they're in transition. When you get a couple of those, it can be deflating. You hope that it's not. For us, it was tonight, and we started the second half I know early on we had a turnover, and then we had one or two bad shots in a row, and every time we did something like that, they made us pay. And I mean, you could feel it just took the air out of us. And, normally we're pretty resilient when that happens. We just keep grinding and finding a way. Tonight we didn't. But I felt more than anything else, it started with the way that we played on the offense end of the floor in that second half. I mean, to go 1 for 4 in sprays, and then to have the type of turnovers we had, it's not good.
Coach, pregame, you talked a little bit about adversity and while making it clear that you don't want to lose these games, but sometimes it could be good for the team to go through some of these losses. Do you consider tonight's loss, the team can benefit from a loss like tonight?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great time for us to see if we have it within ourselves to go out and play the right way. And you're not going to win every game. Obviously, I don't care how well you play, but you don't want to walk away from a game if you can help it with a bad taste in your mouth, knowing that there are a lot of things out on the floor that we could have done better. Just by keeping the game simple, just by doing what we do, what we emphasize, and that's what makes it tough. Is we emphasize. There are a handful of things that we emphasize a lot, but as of late, it's been about the sprays and it's been about the contests, and we didn't do a good job in either area. When we made that, if you think about it, when we made that little mini run. In the third, I think we had Alex and Davion and Malik, maybe Dorte and Keegan. We had just in that 2-minute or 3-minute burst alone. I think we had three of our 4 sprays, and then we might have had one the rest of the half. And Alex, he caught it. He got a little bounce pass diving down the lane, and he kicked it to Keegan, and Keegan had a wide open corner 3 that he missed. Malik drove and hit Davion at the top of the floor for a wide open spray. We started playing the right way, and you can feel the momentum or the juice of the group out on the floor on both ends of the floor. Not only that, Dallas was pressed a little bit. They started missing some shots. They ended up getting a 50-50 ball, and Hardaway hit a little pull-up jumper at the free throw line. Otherwise, it would have been like an 8-0 or 10-0 run. So it's, to me, to all of us in that locker room, it's a great opportunity for us to see if we can bounce back, play the right way, and see if we can get a win against these guys in the next 3 days.
Hey, Mike, this might be better for after you watch the film, but they were pressing Domas a lot, especially at the three-point line, the foul line. Is there something that you guys can do offensively to kind of combat that, especially when they're pressing him so much?
He's going to have to go by Gafford. I mean, if you think about it, when you're younger on the playground and somebody's getting up in your chest, you got to first of all create space with your pivot foot, and then if they keep doing it, jab one way, and then you're going to have to go by them. And when you go by them, in their case, help's coming. Help's coming. So if help's coming, then that's when the spray has to happen. So you have to make sure everything that you do is purposeful against those guys, because they're a pretty good defense team and they're big. They're a lot bigger than us, and they have some pretty good athletes. But we can't allow them to have us play on our back heel all the time. So just going by your man, not necessarily to score every once in a while, but to draw help, knowing that if somebody comes from here, I'm just making a simple. I may not get the assist because they may rotate, but I got to get off of it, and sometimes get off of it before I take a third or fourth dribble, and let that person get the assist. So, thank you.